Hey sports fans, welcome back to the Fool Show. Of course, I am Foolish Phil. I just wanted to give you my foolish thoughts after Michigan's 33-7 victory over Northwestern. And after just watching Penn State lose in 9 overtimes to Illinois, these quote-unquote trap games can really be tough games. Obviously, Penn State was looking ahead, looking ahead to Ohio State next week. Michigan was probably doing the same thing, looking ahead to Michigan State next week. I don't know if only the players and staff really know that, but Michigan kind of came out in a little bit of a daze, I would say. It took them a while to get going. And it really started off on maybe it was the third possession of the game for Michigan, and it was a third and long, and Cade did a long pass, and it wasn't anywhere close, and the refs finally called a defensive holding penalty. Well, it really should have been pass interference, but honestly, it was probably a bailout too. And that kind of just gave Michigan a little bit of life. And then the play after that, or maybe the second play after that, Hassan Haskins goes off and runs up the middle, and the whole line, he keeps fighting, and the whole line starts pushing him, and he probably gains 10 yards there. People are pushing him. He almost broke out for a big long run. The ref didn't blow it, kind of just like they didn't last week or 2 weeks ago against Nebraska with Gonzalez, or Martinez rather, who held onto the ball and fumbled. And that kind of just fired the team up. All of a sudden, it's like Haskins is playing hard. The line was pushing him. And Michigan goes on and drives down the field, scores a touchdown, 7-0. Definitely got to give the big-time credit to Corum. Blake Corum was running outstanding today. I think he had 19 carries for 119 yards. Just outstanding. 2 touchdowns for him. But he was just making jukes and getting extra yards after contact. Nothing wrong with Haskins. 23 carries for 110 yards. As a team, Michigan had just under 300 yards rushing. So Michigan just really did what old school Michigan teams have done in the past. This game totally reminded me of 2018, I think it was, where Michigan was just better than people, and they just played to their strength and just won on talent, but not on scheme. And what I mean by that is Michigan just wore down Northwestern, and the second half, a 10-7 game became 33-7. Right? Michigan wasn't doing anything different. Michigan didn't change up much anything. They just wore down Northwestern. And if you look at it, Michigan had 3 long drives there to end the first half, and Northwestern had 1 drive, like a 3-and-out. Then they had 1 drive, 1 play for the 75-yard touchdown. So all of a sudden their defense was just getting gassed, and you could see it in the second half. It just reminded me of that type of a game. Now, that's not going to work against better teams, and we've seen that in the past where Jim Harbaugh-led teams don't beat better teams playing that style because you're not going to wear them out. Statistically, it was a great game on the ground. Passing-wise, even though 20 out of 27 looks respectable good, Cade McNamara only had 129 yards, 4.8 yards per attempt, and per completion, I even think that is. It's like that. I think he's fallen in love with the deep ball, and he's trying to hit our wide receivers, Dylan Baldwin or Johnson or Sanistril, for long deep ball throw touchdowns, and those are not there. They're covered, and there's no one open, and he still just takes a shot and is hoping it's not even a 50-50 shot. We don't have a wide receiver that goes up and catches it. Maybe Ronnie Bell would have been that guy. I don't know. But we don't have a Braylon Edwards or, one of those premier Michigan wide receivers that would go up and catch those balls like Manningham. Michigan doesn't have one of those on the team right now. At least they're not playing that way. So those are just wasted downs. And I really think Cade needs to do more of those intermediate 10 to 15 yard passes instead of taking the deep shot. And it's too predictable. I mean, I was just sitting there watching my buddy. I'm like, you know what? Michigan's going to take a deep shot right here. It's 1st and 10, deep shot. Yep, there it was. The defense is not surprised by that at all because they're expecting it too. So I'll have to say the creativity on offense was a little lacking. Another thing that really I find very disappointing from this game, I know 33-7. So I know I'm kind of being negative Nelly here, but Michigan threw 1 ball into the end zone the whole game. 1 ball. And that was to Johnson in the corner, and he was pass interfered with, and at that point in the game, the refs weren't calling anything. So it wasn't a flag, and Michigan had to settle, I think, for a field goal on that. Every other throw inside the 20 was like to the side, where the wide receiver or tight end or running back has to make one guy miss, and then maybe he can get in. And Michigan didn't do any of that. What is so bad about practicing, especially Michigan was up 27-7, and they're running the ball. They just blocked the punt or the pick. They just got the pick by DJ Turner. And like, why can't we just practice a play to a wide receiver, a tight end in the end zone? Instead, we just run the ball. Fine, we get the touchdown, but that doesn't do anything for you. We know we can run the ball against Northwestern. We've been doing it all second half. Why don't you work on a play that can help you in the long run? And so I just found that disappointing that, again, Michigan's passing game was okay, but 129 yards from him, 34 I think it was from JJ. Just kind of blah. And you just see it too. Nothing. Cade made one bad throw, man. Oh, that terrible throw. He threw into like triple coverage, almost picked off. That was only like a 10-yard out route or something, too. Short pass. Like, I don't know what he was doing throwing that ball. But JJ, you just see that. The more this goes, you just wonder how long Cade is going to stay in there. What has he done to lose the job? I don't know. But what has he done to keep the job? JJ comes in there and just throws rockets. And he missed some throws, too. I'm not saying JJ's perfect. But you see that on the fourth down play that got called back because of the blindside block. He just scrambles and he makes a play on fourth down, right? He used his feet. He had 2 runs for 36 yards, I think. Definitely. I can't wait for it. I know it's going to happen. Please let it happen. Versus Michigan State or Penn State or Ohio State. Where he's in there, and I liked how I'll finish that in a second. Where he's in there and he's going to take a deep shot to Dalen Baldwin or to Johnson or something, where everyone's thinking he's just going to run the ball or hand off the ball, right? Because that's what he basically comes in to do. When he comes in the series, it's run or hand off. And I loved how Michigan didn't do that in the first half. They used him as a decoy. They did those like wide receiver runs instead of him running, JJ running. So I give that was some props there. At least they had a different wrinkle for JJ coming in. But man, they got to do that play. They have got to do that play where they fake it and then fake handoff and then take a shot with JJ because he can do those throws. I mean, they just got to do that. I hope they really do. So again, it's hard to complain about a win where the second half Michigan turned to a tight game where Northwestern was holding around the game. In the game they were 10-7 at halftime. I was like, what kind of a game is this? I wanted more of a blowout, right? I'm a selfish fan, I know, whatever. But just one play Michigan gave up, and you watch Michigan State. Well, I'm sure we'll watch this game, and they'll notice how Michigan's defense is very aggressive and how that screen game of Northwestern really hurt Michigan in the second half, especially. 3rd and 16 they picked up, or like 3rd and 8 they picked up before the game was really much in doubt. And so Michigan State's going to do some screen plays, and is Michigan going to be able to get those for stops? Just when you kind of wonder, like, what's the team really think about this win? I love seeing, again, Aiden Hutchinson going off, Eric All going off, and celebrating with the student section. They're up there after the game, celebrating with the students. Again, they only have like 2 home games left for their careers, at least Hutchinson. I'm not sure what year All is. I was like, he's enjoying this. And you know what? Maybe people didn't take this game seriously. It's a Big Ten game, and it's a game you needed to win. You could not slip up here. Just say Penn State versus Illinois. Just saying, crazy things happen. So Michigan avoided the trap. They avoided the upset. They didn't get caught looking ahead to Michigan State. They improved to 7-0. And that's all you can think. I mean, if you would start at the beginning of the season, and what chance do you think there would have been that anyone would have predicted Michigan and Michigan State would be 7-0 heading into this game October 30? I would think there'd be like no one. I didn't think Michigan would be here. I thought they would lose to Wisconsin. And people were down on Michigan State too. They didn't think they'd be undefeated. So what a game this is. You're going to have a top 10 game between Michigan and Michigan State. And it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think it's going to be a tight, nail-biting game. I'm going to be just nervous, Nelly. It's going to be terrible and fun all at once. Oh. Oh, man, what a game. That's going to be intense next week. The question is how... I made this question to my buddies, too. What's the over-under for personnel fouls in that Michigan State game? Over-under, what do you think, more than 5? Over-under 5 personal fouls in that game next week. I don't know. I think that's a good bet. Prop bet for anyone to take. I don't know. A win's a win. Again, this is just a working light game where Michigan just won by just skill. It wasn't done by scheme. Michigan didn't really, dominate the way that I hope they would. They didn't really pass the ball very well. No deep plays really happened in the passing game. But they got the win. And you don't apologize for a win. You move on and get ready for the next game. Just my thoughts after the game. Let me know what you guys think. Put them in the comment section below. I'll try to respond as I'm able to. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. Always appreciate that. And until I see you guys next time, go Blue!